Hi class, this is the assignment for February 12th, 7.2 similar polygons. Let's look at these two triangles and we're going to investigate, are they similar? So the first thing that needs to happen is that the corresponding angles need to be congruent, and we can see that we have these angles are congruent to each other in these two triangles. You see that? And they all go in the same direction. So we can say that angle A is congruent to angle D, and angle B is congruent to angle E, and angle C is congruent to angle F. So we're just writing the corresponding angles. They're already marked. Now we're going to write the ratios of the corresponding sides. And we want to be careful here to make sure that we get the right sides when we write the ratios. So when I look at these two figures, I can see that this side right here, see how it's between this one mark and these two marks, that side right there? I'm going to look for the one over here that looks like that, and this one is the same. So these two sides are corresponding sides. And if I'm going to write the ratio of that, I can go from small to big or big to small. I'm going to go from small to big. I'm going to go this direction. So I'm going to put 8 on the top and 12 on the bottom. So that is AB to DE. So AB to DE is 8 to 12. That's the ratio of those two sides and their corresponding sides. I can simplify this by dividing by 4, and I get 2/3. The next pair of corresponding sides, I'll look at BC here, and that comes in between the 2 marks and the 3 marks, so that corresponds with this side. So BC corresponds to EF. We'll write the ratio of those two sides, and that's 10 to 15. I can simplify this by dividing by 5, and I get 2/3. And look, these two ratios are the same. Now let's look at the last pair of corresponding sides. This side and this side. So that's, I'm going from the smaller to the bigger. AC to DF. So that's 14 to 21. And I can divide this by 7 and this by 7 and get 2/3. And all three of our ratios are the same. So in this figure, since all three angles are the same, all the corresponding angles are the same, see, here, here, and here, and the corresponding sides have the same ratio, 2/3 to 2/3 to 2/3, then yes, these are two similar triangles. When we write the similarity statement, I'll write triangle, I'll call this first one triangle ABC. I use the similar symbol, that's the symbol to say they're similar. And ABC is going to correlate to, D goes with A, see how they're congruent? E goes with the B, and F goes with the C. So I'm going in the same order. D goes with A, E with B, F with C. And there's our similarity statement. What is the scale factor from this triangle ABC to DEF? So the small one to the big one, the scale factor. I can take any one of these corresponding sides. I could take 8 to 12, or 10 to 15, or 14 to 21, and use those to find the scale factor. It's 2/3. Now if we're going to go in the other way, I can take any one of these pairs again. I could take 15 and 10. I'll do that one, 15 to 10. But I could have done, it's going to be the same if I do 21 to 14. It doesn't matter, because they're going to simplify to 3 halves. And notice that when you go from ABC to DEF, the scale factor is 2/3. Other way, it's the reciprocal of that. These are reciprocals of each other. What is the ratio of the perimeters from triangle ABC to DEF? Well, if the ratio of the sides is 2/3, then the ratio of the perimeter is also 2/3. The perimeter has the same scale factor as the sides do. Okay, number 4. We're given this figure is similar to this figure. So these two are similar. And I like to mark the angles when possible. So we know that P and T are going to be congruent because they're listed together in order. Right? Q and U are also going to correspond. R and W and S and X. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice this figure has been kind of flipped over. So this angle correlates with this one. This angle corresponds with this one. All right, so we're going to list all pair of congruent angles. Well, again, we can use the similarity statement. So that is going to be angle P is congruent to angle T. Angle Q is congruent to angle U. Angle R is congruent to angle W. And angle S is congruent to angle X. Right, they just go in order, and we marked them already. R goes with W. S goes with X. Q goes with U. P goes with T. Now we're going to write a proportion that relates these corresponding sides. And so we have to find the corresponding sides. So let's start with PQ. Here's P and here's Q. PQ is going to correspond with TU. See how we have one tick mark here? So we'll put T here, and then we have 2 tick marks. So I'm going to color that. PQ corresponds to TU. And that is going to be equal to, since these are similar, all these ratios are going to be the same. PS and let's see, P to the 4 tick mark, these two are going to be, you have to be careful because this has been flipped. So PS corresponds with TX, and that's also going to be equal to, okay, we have QR, that's the side between the 2 tick marks and the 3 tick marks, so it's this one right here. So QR is going to correspond with UW. And notice I'm always starting with the left one and I'm going this direction. So PQ equals TU, PS equals TX, and QR is equal to UW. And you could switch these around. This could be called RQ and WU. And then the last shape that we have here is this one. Let's do it in purple. So RS and WX. And there's our proportion that sets all the ratios of the corresponding sides equal to each other. Okay, number 5. We're given this triangle XYZ is similar to triangle RYS. So X is going to be congruent to angle R. Y is congruent to itself. And Z is congruent to S. Right? That's how it's listed. These 2 triangles, there's a smaller triangle and a bigger triangle. Okay, listing the corresponding congruent angles is going to be easy. Angle X is congruent to angle R. Angle Y is congruent to itself. Notice Y is in the middle here. And angle Z is congruent to angle S. These 2. Now we're going to write a proportion like we did up here. Now it's going to be a little harder to color code these, but let's look at this triangle here. This smaller triangle right here. This is the smaller triangle right here. And then is this one right here. So you can see there's two triangles. Hopefully you can see that. We're going to find the corresponding sides. So this side right here, xy of this, the bigger triangle, xy, that is going to correspond with ry. Because xy comes between this angle with the 1 tick mark and the 2 tick marks, and this side comes between the angle with the 1 tick mark and the 2 tick marks. So I can say this side is corresponding to this side. I write it like that. Equals, now we have this side, zy and sy. And that's going to equal, now again I'm going to put the big one first, xz to rs. And we've written a proportion with the corresponding sides.